Good morning. Happy Thursday morning. I am having a little bit of trouble with this morning stuff. I really like that 3 p.m. slot that I use for Sunday all the time. And, gave myself that luxury when I was still doing rehab and all that. But trying to get back on a schedule. Normally Thursdays are evenings, 7 p.m. And will be, I think, from now on. But I have an appointment. I'm going to get a COVID shot, and I have to go this afternoon. And I don't know how I'm going to feel. So I'm giving myself the luxury of having the evening available to crawl into bed if I want to. So this is going to be at least an hour and a half. We'll see how long it goes. And I am going to, and you're going to watch me spin the Rologs that I started making on the blending board 2 days ago on Tuesday. And if you didn't catch that, you can go to my channel at Yarn Spinner's Tales on Twitch and look at the most recent one. After this one posts, it'll be the second most recent, right? But it'll show a blending board and me working on it, and you can check that as a VOD, video on demand. So maybe you want to go back and catch that and then watch this. But if you join me here live, ask questions, let's chat, enjoy the music, and grab a cup of coffee like I have, or something hot. I can't believe it's still cold here. It's the middle of May. It is still chilly here. I have corduroy pants on. I did sit outside in the sun yesterday, felt wonderful, but you have to have a jacket if you're not in the sunshine, or it ends up being a cloudy day or whatever. I am ready. I feel cheated out of spring this year. Didn't feel like I had the spring we often have, and I am real sorry about that. We will have summer, I'm sure, probably quicker than I'm ready for. I never really want the really, really hot weather. I just like that medium right in between, right? So let me show you. Voila! Rologs made off the blending board. Now you can't read the cards. I have these little cards up here. And I do want to say the blend is a wool by the name of Tunis. I'm going to turn the music down here a little bit. Tunis, the wool is Tunis, and I slip and say Texel a lot of times because they're both with a T. They both are very similar fiber, Tunis and Texel. And unfortunately, if on the previous one I slipped and said Texel, that was not correct. It is Tunis, and I'll make a very big effort to make sure I say that all the time in this stream. The second fiber that you see right here is a fawn color alpaca. The whole purpose of the blending board project was twofold purpose. One, the Tunis was combing waste, so full of nubs and bumps and all that sort of thing. And usually it's something that I don't keep, or if there's a lot of it, I stick it in a bag that I can use to wet felt a sheet of something if I want to make a felt design, let's say, or something like that. Or you can stuff things with it that aren't necessarily going to go in the wash if you're making the little knitted and crocheted animals or that sort of thing. But very, very few uses for combing waste because of the bumps. And I thought I'm just going to try an experiment and see if I can make a textured yarn that a lot of people would call maybe an art yarn or, that sort of thing because of the lumps and bumps. As well, the second purpose of the blending board project was to combine the Tunis, which is a short stapled fiber, with the alpaca, which is a long stapled fiber. We think of blending boards as only being for blending colors, and that's not true. These are all natural colors, and therefore they are usable by the blending board for blending the different lengths of fiber. And it worked really good. Alpaca loves a blending board. Just as you can see right here, this is 100% alpaca. When I did the Rologs for that, it was amazing to pull off and very wonderful Rologs. Not so much so with the blends because, as I said, the Tunis was combing waste and it has the bumps in it. And the bumps don't go away when you do the roll logs. This is what I did during the stream on Tuesday, but this is what I did yesterday. I made 45, oh, camera, behave yourself, of these. And we've got the 100% alpaca right here. And we've got the two different kinds of whites, and they are best told apart in the camera. They're a little less obvious to the naked eye when you're looking at them, but this here is where I laid the tunis down first, then put the alpaca on, and got everything ready and rolled the roll logs. This here, I pre-blended the alpaca and tunis together by picking it together and then just loaded the blending board. So it's subtle. It's a very subtle difference. The only thing that really happened is that here, where I loaded the tunis first, put a base of that white down, they look whiter. All right, so I have the 3 different colors, which is kind of hard to see, but this was where I was putting down the white first. This is when they were pre-blended, and of course this is just the alpaca. So I am going to stick my alpaca over here in the basket. And I am going to do these with labels. I have not really decided exactly how I'm going to spin these. I have 18. I have 18 of each of the colors. But obviously the whites are going to be the dominant of the yarn because they are so much whiter and lighter than the alpaca ones. These are just luscious. Oh my goodness, those are luscious. So, you know, do I spin 2 of these? I don't have enough of the alpaca to put between each of these, so the yarn is going to be dominantly white with areas of the dark alpaca, and will go from a lighter to a darker color. It will be really subtle. And I'm only going to spin single with all of these roll logs because I have this alpaca single that I have spun that looks exactly like this color on camera, but if you actually look at it, it is a tan, not a fawn. But what happens is you mix the fawn with the white and you get a color that's very similar to a tan. But this is a true tan alpaca that's not a fawn. And this is what I will apply it with. I'm going to spin it on my Aura because I'm going to have, I feel, quite a bit of a single, and I wanted to use the bigger bobbin. So let me set this up here where I can reach it. And it'll be out of camera. And some of it will be in camera. And give me room for my Aura. And I have an empty bobbin on it. I haven't even started. So let's see how that feels. Feels a little too close. Can I push my chair back? Nope. Can't push my chair back. Okay. So this has to come over here. That's all right. That makes a lot more sense anyway. There we go. I think that's going to be comfortable enough to spin for a while. I just made a fresh pot of coffee before I got online to stream it. I really need this cup of coffee this morning. I'm going to drink it before it gets chilled because coffee just gets cold so fast. Now I know this camera is blinking like crazy, and for a time there it was making everything green looking. So I have no idea if it's going out or not, and I am not going to buy another one until it does. If it goes out and I need to stream, I will just stick with the camera that I have over the computer that you see my face in, and if I need to, I can mount it on the stand. So I'm going to take the whitest one, and by the way, there is sparkle in there. You can't see it, but I knew that this might be a little boring, to spin. Need a little oomph. So I put Firestar in there. Now that is pulling in too much. It's going to take me a little bit to get this adjusted because I want a very gentle pull in so that I can just do a really nice long draw fluffy yarn. It's pretty good. Still pulling in pretty heavy, but it's not too bad. These will spin quick. These will spin very quick. Not 100% true long draw. I can't long draw out of a true long draw out of Rologs because there is just a tightness to that fiber coming into the drafting zone that makes it impossible to get it to pull out without. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to have a very fuzzy yarn. I'm going to have periodic thick and thin areas. Totally expected that. And the only thing I think I'm going to run into, I have an escapee here, just a minute. The only thing I think I'm going to run into is the alpaca is going to want to spin thin. And I will continue to do the woolen right, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep the alpaca the same thickness as the Tunis alpaca Rologs. I really don't want a thick and thin yarn in that sense. I'm kind of going for a consistent gauge throughout all of what I use this for knitting. Don't know if that'll happen though. Still pulling in too much. I must have been plying last time I did use the Aura. I have not used the Aura since before my surgery. This is the first I've used it since my surgery. Not a problem so far. That's sort of why I said I wasn't real sure how long the stream will be. I've been using my electric before this. Alright, this one's not going as well. And that's an interesting thing to observe because that's the pre-blended one. And I don't think I was getting as smooth a Rolog. It's not drafting out as smoothly as the other one was. There's your nips. And then in this case, they're sitting on top, so I'm going to pull them off. When you comb a fiber, you can lose up to 50% of the weight of the fiber to the combs as waste. That's the nature of the fact that the wool is going to be in various lengths. There's going to be shortcuts. You're always combing. Well, you can comb already prepped fiber if you want. Pretty much exercise in why would you do that, seeing as you already have it prepped. Combing being a prepping process, but you could, and then you wouldn't have any of this. But when you end up prepping a fleece you buy and wash and that sort of thing, getting it ready to spin, and you use combs, you can lose up to 50% to combing waste. Now, you don't have to lose it if you find a way to use it, and that was part of what I was doing with this. Okay. It's spinning up just basically like I thought it would. I like it. Gonna be a very textural, interesting yarn. It's soft. Both the alpaca and the Tunis is soft. One thing about spinning with Rologs is you will become very proficient with joining, because obviously you're not spinning from a very long piece of roving or anything like that. So I'm allowing the alpaca to come out, and it actually will spin a long draw. I'm allowing it to come out though pretty thick. Thicker than I would normally spin it. And boy, there's some ouchies in there. Got my finger. There we go. One Rolog is not going to give me as much as a Rolog of the wool alpaca, lengthwise. Need my wastebasket to hand here. There we go. Alright, how's that? Now, should I just... This has a lot of sparkle. I'll just continue one each of the three. You know, it is sort of linear and probably not... probably I might enjoy it better if I wasn't so linear. A little randomness in it. I don't know. I tend to think that knitting fabric, the knitted fabric, wants some definition of it wants some linearity, it wants some consistency, so that when you are to prevent pooling, when you are knitting, let's say something with 10 stitches, and you go in the round or you go back and forth or whatever, if your yarn is consistent in length of each color or whatever, you're going to get the stripes you want, because it's going to be a consistent number of stitches. Now this is not going to end up being striping because every Rolog is a different depth, thickness, and will give me a different length from it, because there's various amounts of fiber. So I can't even say I'm going to have consistent non-pooling knitting with this, because I am going to have different lengths of each Rolog of the single. That's why sticking with a very subtle combination, natural color, that sort of thing, that problem's not going to be as obvious as if you were using rainbow colors or something like that. I think, to slow down the treadling. I believe I am also spinning thinner than I did to start. Okay. question is, does this come off? Some of it does. Do I want to take it off? I don't know.